Hello, I am Johannes from Avatar, and you lucky bastard, you're not. You're also lucky bastard being here watching Chaoszine.
Hi there! We are in Tuska Festival in Helsinki, and our guest today is Johannes Eckerström from the band Avatar. Hello, Johannes.
That's correct. Yes, hello.
Yeah. How are you? How was the main stage of Tuska?
We are being told by as many as one or two people that as far as being the first band out on the festival, we broke some kind of attendance record. That so many people showed up on time. And it was amazing. It's something special about waking up in your own bed, walking the dog, eating breakfast in your own kitchen, going on the metro, be world famous for 40 minutes, and soon I will go home and walk the dog again. You know, and those kind of things are special. And I got this, nowadays I got that feeling about two places in the world. Of course, Sweden as homeland, being born in, and now this is my adopted homeland. So Tuska was a long time in the making for us to finally come and play here. And I think we lived up to expectations enough to be invited back. So it's very good.
I would say there was quite a lot of people. We are doing not so traditional interview today. We have a pack of questions for you. Some of them are a bit random, and some of them are very quick to answer, and some of them give you a bit chance to analyze a bit more.
All right.
So are you
Let's
ready?
see which is which. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is like, let's get to know Johannes Eckerström. What is the first band you remember being a fan of?
Not a band, but Beethoven. Grew up with a lot of classical music being played in the house. And I wasn't thinking like this then, but in hindsight, I realized I was drawn to the Fifth Symphony, which was the, serious heavy one. He looked stern in the paintings and stuff. So maybe it's already a taste for things to come in a way. It's also like a little kid when Michael Jackson was the bee's knees. I like Thriller the most because then he was a werewolf. I like the theme of Addams Family. You're kind of looking for something before knowing what you're looking for. No, but Beethoven, I wanted my first, when I grow up, kind of dream, aside from being a pizza baker, was to be a conductor. So I would take a spatula from the kitchen, stand on a chair and wave my arm around because I had seen something symphonic on TV. So yeah, Beethoven is probably the first conscious, I like this.
Wow. If you weren't a musician, what would you be?
A pizza baker. No, the real answer, probably, see, I'm in a family full of teachers, and now another sister has decided to go back to school to also become a teacher. And I am a natural talent, I think, working with kids. I like the education, but in terms of having those jobs that you can get away with going on tour and stuff, I was substituting a lot. So working with kids, but then kind of having the exact same job as my parents or like my mom and my siblings felt like, So at some point years ago, when it might have been a possibility to not be in this band, as if, kind of landed on children's psychologist. So that might have been a thing.
That's cool. Do you prefer festivals or inside concerts?
No, inside concerts if I really have to choose. But I also like specifically what you get. One of the fun parts of playing in a band is, throughout the cycle of writing, recording, releasing an album, talking to you guys, then going on tour, then comes festivals, is the constant change. And also the fact, like today, that we are in a position to play a bit earlier, which means, which is different from festivals in countries where we are, allowed to go on much later, where this, the festival experience now of hanging around, being done playing, already showered and eaten and everything is different from nighttime shows. But at the end of the day, when we headline, we play for like 2 hours and we do all the theatrical things, are fully in control. And even if it's a really big show, there's a different kind of intimacy to it. This is more casual, but also in a good way. I would miss this a lot if we would only do, our own thing all the time.
I can believe that. Massive tour in Asia or United States?
Never toured Asia, so I picked that.
How do you like to spend your time on tour? It's like long traveling and stuff.
It has changed many times over through the years. One key thing, I guess, of adulting on tour now is to not letting your home life just stop. Because in the beginning, if you toured maybe once, twice per year, then it was like a crazy vacation, you know, where you get to yell at people. But now we tour so much more. So now it's more about making it feel like real life, also when on the road. And nowadays, as of recently, is post-pandemic thing, I kind of make more of a point of Googling the place and like, do I have time to see something, go somewhere? You know, look at a thing. Yeah, we were playing Las Vegas, for instance, and to have a friend there who drove us out to the Nevada desert, to these Red Rock Canyons, you know, do stuff when you get the chance. And aside from that, me and Henrik and Jonas in particular, like work fitness nuts on the road, which takes up, you know, a good chunk of every day, just being really ambitious about that, to being able to tour this much, doing the things we do.
That seems like proper thing to do, like as you tour so much. So
yeah, because I mean, I partied enough to, you know, I've drinking more than you have, person watching this, I'm sure. The first US tour was, you know, shit-faced, 39 days out of 42, you know, so we got enough stories to tell, I guess.
That's it. On tour, what is the most common thing you disagree with the band? Is there something?
We get along really well with things. I think sometimes, you know, like I think, for instance, between me and John, our drummer, he can get kind of introverted with when he feels, was this a good show or not? Was this exciting? Because this year in particular, we were really sticking to the same set list forever because we nailed it. And it really, just what we're doing with it feels so right. That kind of when he's used to it, and he's not surprised anymore, he forgets that it's a surprise to the audience. When that being said, it's important to keep on surprising yourself somehow, but he might hit that before I do, because also the geography of the stage, that he's back there and I'm, you know, out where I am, just what I get to read and feel from the audience, the people there, I think I'm more right in evaluating how a show went. But that's nothing serious. There are rarely any serious disagreements. I'm not so picky with food, so it could be that he or someone else goes, well, when me and Jonas go, okay, I'll take yours as well then.
Yeah, so it's very easy to come along.
We got a lot of fighting out of the way when we were 16 years old.
Yeah. What are the things you always do after the show?
Shower. Back to food. I like it, and back to the whole fitness thing. If I get to walk off stage and start eating the moment I hit the dressing room rather than waiting until even later in the night, that makes me a very happy panda. Other than that, I don't know. Like, I think because, again, now this thing of having an actual life on the road means that we try to fill our days with stuff. That if it isn't anything particular in terms of who friends visiting or whatever that makes it a social thing also post-show, I think I do very, very little.
Yeah. But that's a good thing, I think.
Yeah, and also it's a Dee Snider quote in terms of just like, if I don't leave the stage feeling like crap, exhausted and unable, if I can go party right after the show, I've cheated the audience out of something. And I totally respect that mindset.
Me too. Are you morning or evening person?
Morning nowadays. I grew up being a night owl a lot, but I'm just consciously shifted that. I like to go to the gym before breakfast, stuff like that.
How does that work for you, being a morning person and on tour?
Well, morning just starts a bit later, but also day finishes even later.
Yeah.
So it's the same pattern, you know. It's, you know, you can't keep... Your whole thing changes on the road, of course, but you know, just sunrise is at 11 instead of at 5, but still similar principles.
Fine dining or fast food?
Fine dining, I guess. Although I don't do it that often, but So on the road, you eat out a lot. You eat what other people have made for you so much. So it's my first thing when home is not, let's go to a restaurant. Like now I can finally chop a carrot all by myself now. So I'm more on cooking anyway. So when it happens, I like it when it's something, again, only done it a handful of times, but this, I need to take a picture of this, 7 plates, whatever. Did it cost how much? Those handful of times I've done that, I still remember those as an experience as going to a show. So of course that's more fun.
If you would have to be a musician in some totally different genre, what kind of music would you do?
There are many things I would like to do, actually. What jumped into my mind is, as a kid in school, playing the trombone, I was in a big band. So doing jazz and being part of an orchestra, that's a completely different role from being out there doing a clown, doing that. I really liked where it becomes very much, you just dress nice and it's all about the music and the movement is the people dancing over to your swing songs. That is one thing. That is just, I do, it's not that I write songs because I don't feel no one is forcing me to finish them, but I come up with a lot of things on piano, for instance. And in theory, to at some point bring those kind of things to completion, it's kind of in the pipeline that I am no rush to do it. But whenever that would happen, it would be nice to, at least go on one tour if you put music like that out.
We'll see. How much does it take to make your onstage mask?
It's fast now. I always start getting ready 2 hours before the show, but I don't need 2 hours. It's nice to be ready, and also if you fuck up, someone bumps into you, you have time to fix. And then to also change mindset a bit, so it's part of the ritual, and also gives enough time to, I'd like to warm up right around 1 hour before the show. I learned that from Devin Townsend. Basically, he talked about this feels that it's good to do it a while before, not right before you go on stage, and then let it marinate, he said. So it's something, it's a very nice feeling to be ready, not just get ready. But in reality, that was years ago, but we played another festival and flights were delayed and things, so we arrived. So we parked the van right behind the stage and people threw the stuff up. We got changed immediately, had no mirror. So just doing it on the side of the car, getting ready. And just from arriving to stage was less than 30 minutes and it was no problem. Well, it wasn't pleasant, but it was doable.
You've done your mask a couple of times now.
Yeah.
It must be a bit easier. What is the best thing about yourself?
I am surrounded by a lot of people near and dear to me that I found absolutely extraordinary. Family and friends, wife and stuff like that. That maybe that says something about me as well. But there's a bunch of people I'm very lucky to have in my life. That's probably means something.
Wow, that's a great answer.
It was a really fucking good answer.
Nice. But what is the best thing about Avatar?
The brotherhood. The fact that we've been able to, be absolutely nothing that nobody care about and love this all the same and being as driven since day one about it, and that we maintain those feelings, and that we have only grown closer over the years, as opposed to a huge risk in the music business is the opposite. Once you start getting paid, things might get weird. But again, like I told you, we had a lot of fights when we were 16. So we solved the business end when you had to discuss basically 10 euros. And then we kept that model until now. So we are so much on the same page. We are really comfortable and enjoy each other's company now as much as ever. And that just means that we can keep on trucking forever, it seems.
Yeah, and I think it shows on the stage too.
I think so too.
Yeah. What is the best festival to go as an artist?
As an artist? Oh, there are many for different reasons. I only been here for a few hours, but Tuska, it's good. And again, knowing so many people in town, in and out of the business, that is in itself a thing.
Makes a lot.
So if I'm to single something recent out, we were at Grass Pop in Belgium. And just in terms of mingling, the way it is, when festivals, VIP is fine and these areas where a lot of different people might cross through, but it's nice that they have a really good, cool area by the catering that is really just for people that are really supposed to be there. So it's chill and the mingling, like I'm not always the best one at hanging out and meet a million people, but there it was so inviting to do that. That stood out. And then, the distance from the main stages to the dressing rooms is so short, so it's really like you play a club show and just... So that's nice. But there are many examples.
Who is your most important idol or role model?
Many. I would single out Devin Townsend again, I think, because I appreciate, being a fanboy of so many things through life. But as I've grown older, so has he. And what I respect so immensely with what he is doing is that, well, now I guess he recently turned 50, I think, and what he put out is the honest 50-year-old version of him, not trying to be 22 or whatever, or do the things. So it's always this honest reflection in his work from where he is at in life. And that approach to creating, instead of trying to recreate some magic of like, oh, you just left puberty and first time someone touched you between the legs and, whatever, that, and then try to do that forever, or, oh, you were really angry and angsty when you were 22. But so the journey means that creating like that means that there's always this chance of that his best thing ever is ahead of him and not behind him. And I respect that a lot. And I think that's something that why this reinvention in Avatar and finding a new challenge every time is so important, to just really figure out what's going on now, not what went on 10 years ago or when we started when we were 16, and not always try to find that mindset and keep a formula at any given time. Like, we want to change, evolve, learn things. It should be hard to make songs because it's just you want to make something truly great and touch on things you haven't touched on yet. And Devin, I think, is my favorite example of that being done successfully.
That seems like a very right way to think about things.
Yeah.
Last but not least, quickly, your hopes for the future, what comes to the music?
To keep finding the spark over and over again as we have this far. That it stays, because I'm baffled the fact that people are interested in what we're doing. Just that word, to like it, is one thing, but that people like, oh, another thing coming up, and being on board to check out what we are doing next. And that we keep that sense of that in ourselves, so that translates to what we put out.
That's great. Hey, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And I wish you a great summer.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.